The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone. It is a delight, as always, to see all of you here today. I'm always amazed every time I meet with you folks. Nothing phases you. Last time we met, there was a Super Bowl, and everyone still came. And this evening is a full moon, which is wonderful. I want to talk about that for a few minutes. But it's also the time change here in the United States. And so I was kind of wondering how many people were going to forget about that and show up an hour late. So, hey, folks, I'm really grateful that everyone who's online with me here tonight is attentive and sharp and as eager as I am to do this psychic hour. This is so much fun. I do this with you, as you know, every month. It's free, and it's just a great community of people. So welcome back, those of you who have been here before, and those of you who are new, get ready to really enjoy. Here are a few basic rules for the session. First of all, and those of you who are old, it's just a review. Those of you who are new people, this is something you might want to pay attention to. As soon as you come on, if you have a question and you want to speak, raise your hand. That way, my assistant Lisa, who is on with me, will know that you're someone who wants to actually ask a question, and she will know she can call on you. If you're shy and you want to ask a question, but you don't want to speak, well, then go into on the bottom of your little strip there on the side where it says questions, and you can type your question in there. And a lot of those questions Lisa can actually answer for you. And the ones that she can't, she's going to either refer to me, especially if there's a lot of them that are similar. If not, well, I have one third thing up my sleeve. Everyone who is actually physically on here with me this evening, I do this as a special favor for everyone because I love doing this, and I love all of you a lot of you are learning about the psychic world right now. I want to support that. So each one of you, if you're physically on here, if you send me a question following this within the next 24 hours, it's got to be within that time period, I or Lisa will answer that question for you. And of course, those of you who actually get to ask a question online, that's your question, okay? So no taking advantage there. Okay, but as always, it's a delight to see everybody on, and it's going to be an exciting next hour. One of the interesting things about this evening is it is a full moon. It's always especially fun to do a psychic hour when the moon is full because that energy is really high. The moon astrologically rules all things psychic and intuitive, so it's a good time. In this chart that we have going on this evening, I just want to show something to you, which is kind of cool. Here is the full moon. In a full moon, the moon, right over here, is opposite the sun, right over here. If you're following my cursor, you can see that. See, the moon is opposite the sun. Ooh, I have no idea why my printer is printing. Please pardon me. I've got noises here in the background. And that's another thing that can happen on a full moon. We get all kinds of interesting psychic things happening. And all day long, my psychokinesis has been going off. So I've been fouling up people's computers all over the place. I hope I'm not doing that to you. Now, one of the things that I would absolutely love for you to notice here is that the moon opposing the sun, right here, is what happens when we have a full moon. Now, if we had an eclipse like we had just 2 weeks ago, that same configuration would happen, except that they would be in exact alignment, and so the moon would actually be covering over the sun, or vice versa, and that gives us either a solar or a lunar eclipse. So that's one of the things that is really, really exciting. Now, just for your information, this sun, Chiron, which is the healer, and Mercury, the communicator, are all opposing that moon, okay? And they're in the house that's normally ruled by Virgo. So you know what that says? That says that this lunation, this full moon, is about healing. So everybody who's got stuff going on in their life that they have been having discomfort with, that they've been feeling out of sorts with, whether it's a physical ailment, whether it's a relationship, which is really intense right now with all of these things going on in the house of relationship. So whatever it is that's going on for you, it's a good time right now to heal it and to talk about healing it. So let's take a look as you ask your questions, and we'll find out exactly what's going on in your lives this evening that's getting this chart, that horary chart that I cast for us to work with when we do these psychic hours, talking so much about healing and about, especially about healing your day-to-day life, your work, your physical body, and your relationships. Those are the areas that are being targeted here. So when you come on, you can tell me about that. So now that you know those basic rules, here are some more rules for the evening. As you come in, I want you to give me your name, and I also want you to tell me where you're from, because we get people from all over the world, so it's always fun to know where people are from. And we also want to know what your best thing that you're grateful in your life for right now is. Your sun sign, of course, so that I can find you here in this chart. And then we want to know your question. So you've got a lot of things in there to carry out in your mind. Now, before we get started, though, I'm going to put you on hold just for a moment while you write all that down and try to figure it out for yourself and think about your question. I have a few announcements I'd like to make as we get started here about things that are coming up in my world that you just might want to participate in. First, the next psychic hour will be April 2nd. And please do write that out. April 2nd. Next psychic hour, April 2nd. Second, we have, or I have, a very special reading for you this month. I always do a reading special for my clients and for people who want to get a jump start on finding out what a reading is all about with Sandy. My readings are done by myself and my guides that you see here when I work with you online. And the special that I run is always only $195, which is a lot less than I normally charge. So it is a good special for you. And this month, it's about organizing your life and about improving your communications, especially within your relationships. So those are the two areas we're going to focus on, and we're going to do a reading on you specifically that tells how you can best do those things. And I want to just take a quick peek back into April, because we're lining up in this reading special, April's reading special. And April's reading special is going to be about rebirth. And in April, I'm going to give you four things in your life that are getting ready to explode, and how to look for them and your best timing of how to work with them. So we've got two really good reading specials coming up if you want to get in on them. Also, just a week from, well, 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from tonight, I'm actually going to be teaching. So 2 weeks from this weekend, we've got a 4-day immersion class in psychic development, the Anastasi system of psychic development, that's going on in Tampa, Florida. So if you live in the area, or if you're vacationing down in Florida, or if you just want to get in on some of these things, this is a great time to be able to move forward with that, okay? So if you've been thinking about, is this something I want to do, this is a good time to do it. March 23rd and 24th, I'm going to be teaching tools and toys. That's things like crystal gazing and astral traveling and working with a pendulum and automatic writing, how to actually do those things safely. On March 25th and 26th, I'm going to be teaching the introduction, all about channeling and all about mediumship. It's an introduction to those things. So if you are studying with me, don't forget about those classes. And if you are new to the field, a lot of people just want to come in for one of those days because they want to learn specific things or just about those specific things. So this is a certificate program if you take all 6 levels of it, but you can come in and just take one level if it's something that interests you. We also have some real interesting thing going on. John Mayer's great medium is doing a messages session on March 25th in Tampa. He's doing that in conjunction with my classes. So if you're there, you can do that as an extra thing, and it's just a fabulous experience. Those of you who can't make the Tampa immersion class, never fear. Watch my website, watch my announcements, because this summer my entire psychic development program will be online, and so you can study right here online with me as well. Now, also, don't forget to write in your calendar, those of you who like cruising like me, the best cruise of your life, I'm reminding you because I keep telling you about this, but sign up if you haven't yet. The best cruise of your life is going to be the psychic cruise that we are doing on November 25th through December 2nd next fall. We're going to be going to the Western Caribbean on the Norwegian, I'm not sure which Norwegian ship it is, but it's on Norwegian, and it's on my website. You can check that out, www.sandyanastasi.com. And we're going to be doing so many wonderful things. Certainly, we're going to party and have fun, and like-minded people get together. But those of you who are practicing psychics or who are just getting started, we're going to have a psychic fair, and you get to actually charge, and people on the ship will come to that fair. So we're actually running a psychic fair on the cruise ship, which is really exciting. And it's a way of me not paying for your cruise probably, but paying for certainly a lot of drinks. Okay. And we also will be going to an island and doing some psychic exploration on that island. So we're going to be having all kinds of fun on that cruise. So if you're a cruiser like I am, that's not something you want to miss. It's really going to be a wonderful experience. So those are my announcements. I hope you got all that stuff written down. But if you didn't, go to the website and check it out there, because it's all right online. And we'll be sending you announcements too ahead of time, so you won't miss it. Lisa, I'm ready, and I hope all of you folks are ready too. We're going to get started now, and it's really nice that my printer has stopped making all that noise. Yay! I knew we could outlast it. Okay, so Lisa, who is our first caller who's going to get a question from me and my guides?
Okay, the first person I'm going to unmute is going to be Brian. Brian, you're unmuted.
Well, hello.
Hello there, Brian.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm great. And Brian, let me guide you through this, because I'm suspecting this is your first time calling in. We have your name. Brian, what's your sun's sign?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Okay.
I am most grateful for my wife and my kids. I think you need to turn it down. Sorry, we're working on the feedback.
There you go.
My wife is also online as well, here in the same room with me. We wanted to both be available in case we got called on.
Awesome. Okay.
And so last month, my wife asked a question. We're really, really excited to get out of the place that we're living in right now, the region that we're living in right now. I'm a military man, and the question was placed, when might we be expecting to move?
And where are you calling?
And
Brian, where are you calling from?
Utah.
Utah. Okay.
And so, and we're both from much further east. The answer that was given was when her spouse or significant other makes his mind up, and I'm a pretty darn sure guy about a lot of things. I'm trying to wonder what kind of things is it that I'm supposed to be making my mind up about.
That was a very, very informed answer, okay? Because you're absolutely right, and this is one of the interesting things I find about working with guides and guided information. They always address the bigger picture, don't they? So there is definitely, you want to move, you want to get out of that locality, but why is it that this is dependent on you, and what do you have to make your mind up about, okay? Well, let's address the fact that since you're a military man, okay, you're going to be reassigned, okay, but you're going to have to do some things to get reassigned, and then you're going to be having to make the decisions about where you want to be reassigned. And I'm suspecting that those, matter of fact, I can't say suspecting, my guides are knowing that those decisions have to be made first. Okay? You've got some unconscious things going on here. And that, I know that's odd for me to address it that way, but let me just show you. I'm working with cards. My guides work with astrology. That's what the uh, chart is, the horary chart is that you're looking at. But they also work with cards, and they also work with pictures and all kinds of other ways of communicating information. Well, the first card I pulled for you has to do with the Two of Wands, and it's reversed. So that talks about you had in the past some long-term plan about where you wanted to end up. Okay, this is where I want this to take me. And either that didn't happen, or it turned out that that was something that had to be put off and you weren't able to do it at that time. Okay? So that is lingering out there. Whatever that was, that you took a different turn than that. That's lingering out there, and it's still pulling you back. It's still pulling you onto that other course. And I'm not so sure, the way this information is coming to me, if that has to do with literally the locality, or if perhaps it has to do with the type of work that you're doing in the military. And that makes a big difference in the where you would be reassigned. So you need to go back. This is talking about a stepping back to a point where you have already made a decision to go one route instead of another route, but that other route is still holding you back because guess what? You haven't let go of it. Okay? So that should give you some hint as to what that is. Now, there's something else too. Apparently, you made that decision back then because your wife, okay, High Priestess inverted, and Moon inverted didn't want that. Okay? So apparently there was a choice made, and it was made because it was in the best interest of she and the family, and you put them first. However, you haven't let go. So there's a choice lingering here that's holding back what I would say is the reassignment. And then when the opportunity for the reassignment comes along, which probably is going to be, I'm getting a 3, probably within 3 months or 3 weeks, it's a 3. When that opportunity comes along, guess what? It's going to come along with multiple options. It's not just going to come along with one opportunity. And so you're going to have to make a decision again. And it really wouldn't surprise me if the old opportunity, the one that you had turned your back on but not let go of, comes up again. Okay? Did that explain things a little bit for you, I hope?
That aligns with so many things. The timeline, the decisions made. Yeah, that's absolutely a perfect answer.
Okay. Well, yeah. And it is interesting because what I do when I read is I channel. And so you're not, it's my voice and I'm physically present, but I kind of step aside and it's not my opinions that I'm giving you. If they are, I'll tell you that this is me, but my guides give that information. And a lot of times when they're giving that information, when that's coming through, they're just, when they said to your wife, it's going to be, and when your husband makes his decision. And they're saying that because they knew all that stuff that I just told you. But you see, and it probably, if you had gotten that answer and it wasn't filtered through her, you would have said, oh yeah, I know what that is. But it wasn't, the question wasn't really her question, do you see? So she wasn't able to get that information. And I don't know why I'm telling you that, because my guides are telling you that as well. Apparently, you get a lot of information yourself this way. And what your guides are wanting you to know is that they're always giving you the information you need. But you're not always interpreting it right because you're not stepping back to be able to see the big picture that they're seeing. The bottom line is they know a lot more than we do. Okay?
We rely on them a lot in our household, and
Okay.
my wife sees them all the time, and it's where a lot of the decisions are made from. So
very good.
absolutely, if I hadn't got the question or the answer through her, sure, I wouldn't have seen a lot of things.
Right. Well, I'm really glad you dialed in and you asked that question. That was really great. And it gave me an opportunity to give our other callers on the line a little bit more insight into how guides work, because a lot of people don't get it. They don't understand when information comes through, it's often not a direct answer. And this is also why the question, when you ask a question, really needs to be super specific, because your guides will not answer a specific question if it's not super specific, you see. Because they've seen the bigger picture and they're answering all these other things that are contingent upon. And so a lot of times you don't think you've got an answer, and you really do. Okay? So once again, thanks so much for asking. I just want to also show you in the chart where you fall, because this is important too. Your sun sign is Sag. So you're falling at the tail end of the house of abilities, monies, finance, and all of the house of communication. So imminently, you are going to be hearing about this, and a lot of it has to do with things like the pay grades, okay? And you'll know more about this than I do, but they're saying a whole lot of it talks about what you're willing to open up and do, or what you're wanting to step back into, but maybe shouldn't or can't. At any rate, this is where it comes in. It's money and it's communications, okay? And also skills. Okay. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good to speak with you. And Lisa, who is our next caller?
Our next person is going to be Deb. Deb, you're unmuted.
Hi.
Hello, Deb.
Thank you.
Hi.
I'm Deb. I'm from the mountains in California, and I am really grateful for all the snow and rain we have had. We had a lot of road conditions and rebuilding, but we made it through.
Yes.
I'm a Gemini.
So am I. You probably know that already.
Yeah.
Good sign. And Deb, I'm going to ask you, because Gemini appears way up here on the house of travel and moves and higher thought and higher education and channeling, by the way. So are you perhaps maybe, after all the stuff that's happened out there, thinking of making a move or a relocation or just a lot of travel?
I really want to stay here. There's not that many jobs. I just literally found out this week that I'm going to be making half of what I've been making, which is $600 a month working in special education when I return in August. So my question is, I've been getting a lot of signs. I have a lot of different directions. I don't have job opportunities up here. I would like to know, to get some clear signs in which direction to look in. I'm thinking of just dropping my medical so I can go back, because my passion is the special kids.
Well, I'm definitely seeing a move, okay? But, moves are interesting. And I was just double checking with the cards as well as my guys, not just the chart. And, the chart's talking about if this is the house of education, higher education and special education and higher thought, and going back to school perhaps to get something else additional to that could bring extra funds in. Okay, but this is that house that you're activating here. And of course, the first part of this is about other people's money. So other people being your husband. And so what are you going to be doing that is going to subsidize that income loss? You got to think about this stuff if you're going to physically stay in that area. What is he going to be doing, perhaps, or you to pick up a part-time job for that extra subsidizing? These are realistic things that you've got to be thinking about. Okay, it does not look to me like there's going to be family support available. It looks to me like even support from the husband is going to be hard. So you're going to have to look to subsidize that to make sure those bills get paid. Going back to school, especially there are a lot of online universities right now, might give you the extra credentials to be able to move to the next pay grade with what you're doing. Okay, but honestly, this talks about a move. And that move is either going to be a geographical move of your home, or it's a geographical move of where you're working. So perhaps you're not going to go back to that school district. You're going to commute to another school district where the pay grade is better. And if you're going to do that, you got to start looking now, because those jobs are getting filled. And it's also possible it's a move that changes your profession into something new where you can bring your teaching in but you're working in a profession that's going to make you more money. So those are your options. And I pulled this card for you, the very first option. I wanted to show you this because this card it's called the Fool card in the tarot. And I know you haven't studied tarot, so you're like, what is this, calling me a fool? No, it's not. The Fool is the soul, literally the soul in the deck of cards. And the Fool's journey is the jumping off point into something all new and brilliant and beautiful. So it's time in your life for you to be moving forward, and it has been time for some time. But you've been hanging in there, and you've been, for whatever reason, you've been refusing to let go. Maybe it has to do with insecurities or responsibility. We all have our reasons. But in order for you to move forward into something new that is actually going to be better for you and that you're going to enjoy more, you have needed not just one and not just two, but probably a whole lineup of kicks in the rear end to get you to kind of wake up and know it's time for a change. Okay? Are you ready for it? And as I've been talking, as my guides have been talking through me, has something been coming to light for you where you're beginning to shape it and realize that you've got to really step out of the box and you can't do things the old way?
Yes, something, my writing. I'm trying to finish up some books, and something you said earlier, yeah, my husband can't help. He's on disability.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been toying with moving back east to Philadelphia, but I don't want to give up my whole family here.
You know, I don't think...
So, yeah, a lot.
Yeah, I don't think the moving back east to Philadelphia is going to be the financial help that you think it would be, because although you would be making more in the school system, your cost of living would also go up. Okay? So you might want to look into a different area entirely where the pay grade that you were on would be better than the cost of living. So if you were going to make a move, I would do some research on the move. Okay, a move could bring you to any place you wanted to be. Do the research that would put you in a position where you would make more. I get that writing the books is great, and that is where you belong. You're a great writer, and you can make money with your writing, but that's not going to be an immediate subsidizer, and you're going to need that immediate subsidizer. Okay? So all these things are important for you to take a look at. Okay? You may have to work in the regular classroom and in the special ed on the side. You might have to have two jobs. Maybe you work 3 days a week with one school and 2 days a week with the other school doing special ed. There's going to have to be a mixture of things in order for you to bridge that gap financially, is what I'm saying. It's not going to happen with ease. It's going to be something which leads you to something new. And this card talks about going back to school because you also have administrative capabilities, and frankly, in the area that you live in, the only people making money teaching are the administrators. Okay?
You're right. I just looked up a probation job, and it would require going back to school. And then something you said, there is a town close to us. We are way up in the mountains, an hour away, and there is a big school district there. So that's maybe where I might start looking.
Yep, I think
it would be a 2-hour drive during the winters, but it would be worth it.
And it would mean it would probably be a place that you would ultimately move to or move somewhere in the vicinity of if you found the job and checked it out and liked the job, because it's not so very far away from where you want to be living. Okay?
That's true. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Good luck to you.
Okay, have a nice evening. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. And Lisa, who is next on our call list?
All right. The next person I'm going to call on is Caden. If I can get it unmuted. Caden, you're unmuted, I hope.
Hi. Hi.
We can hear you.
Sorry, I just got a little shock because I had a feeling that my name was going to get called. I'm Caden from Sydney, and I'm a Cancer. And I'm most grateful for my family. I've just been sitting here trying to ask, spirits, what question should I go with? I guess I've been working on a writing project, and I have this whole year I've kind of had this feeling that it's going to be successful. That's something I just believe it for some reason. And yeah, I guess I want to know. I feel like I have spirit come and encourage me to write and give me ideas. And I guess I'd like to know if this is something that is going to be successful, if it actually would work.
Hayden, I've got a lot of interesting things to talk to you about. What's your sun sign?
Cancer.
Okay, sorry about that. I know you said it, and then it went. went on to other things, and it went right through my brain and didn't stick.
Right.
So here it is. You're, of course, calling about career, because Cancer is the sign right at the top of the chart here. You see where my cursor is? And this whole house that deals with Cancer in our Horror Every chart tonight is all about career.
Yep.
So, of course, you're interested in, your books and your writing, and are you going to be able to get all these ideas and all these things on paper and published and make it happen? Now, the overall answer to that, I want to precede this, is here we go with the Fool card again. It must be something with the Fool in writing this evening, huh? Because you got the same card as your predecessor did. So that says, yes, this is new for you. It's a jump off for you and yours. It's something which feeds your soul and brings you joy. And yes, you should be doing it. And yes, you certainly have the potential for success. Now that I've said that, I want to tell you something else that bothered me a lot. As you were talking, I was pulling up cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was pulling up cards, and every card I turned was inverted, upside down. That's not normal, okay? Usually when you pull cards for people, some are right side up, some are inverted. They all have their own meanings. But when you end up with a whole bunch of cards that are being randomly pulled and they're all inverted, it talks about that person going through some real hard times and being stuck in depression about those things. So, can I ask you, and this is personal, I know, but I'm going to ask you anyway, have either you or somebody who you're very close to, have you been going through a real dark time, a difficult time, dealing with depression, dealing with feelings of feelings like it's hopeless or despair? Or,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. Yeah. Well, particularly last year was very hard, and I often felt quite hopeless. But yeah, depression is something that I deal with pretty regularly.
Now I'm going to go on to the next thing, and sometimes you got to jump in with both feet. This is hard for me to say, but your depression is caused by your psychic receptivity. Okay? So, number 1, you should not ever get anywhere near drugs or alcohol. If you have a glass of wine once in a while, fine. Nothing stronger. You got it? Period.
Okay.
Because those are depressants. And if you're hanging out with people who do, you also have to leave the room or leave the space when they do that, because you're so sensitive. You're an empath, and you're so sensitive to the people around you that as their energy level drops, your energy bleeds.
Yeah, this is something I've been aware of for quite a while now.
Now, are you aware of my YouTube channel?
Yeah, well, yes. Yes.
What I would like you to do is, after the Psychic Hour tonight, start watching my Psychic Protection Tips. There are like 47 of them there. Go through every one of them and select the ones that work best for you, that feel like they resonate, and start putting them into your life. And this thing I'm wearing here, it's called a 0-point pendant. Get one.
Right.
Okay. They're not cheap. I sell them on my website. I'm not showing you this because I want to be a salesperson. I'm telling you this because they work. Okay. This will set up a field and a electromagnetic field around you, so that all this garbage that you're constantly sucking up is going to get filtered, and it's so much easier to move through the world. I.e., you're not depressed.
I've started to wonder about that because, I mean, when I was I was told last August that I'm psychic and a medium, even though I've always seen spirit. I didn't quite put the two together. Sorry. And I kind of, as I learned about clairsentience, I finally started to see and realize that just how much, like, and someone says a sentence to me, I don't realize how much I pick up beyond just what they say.
Exactly.
Like, I often just know a person is, if they try to manipulate me, or I feel like it has more impact and I've started to only very recently realize maybe it shouldn't have as much impact as it does, but because I pick up more than just the words,
Exactly.
that I absorb it into me and take it on.
Right. And this is the part that's the hardest thing in the world to do. But is your writing skill good? Yes. Are your ideas good? Yes. Do you have potential to get out there and be a best-selling author? Oh, yes. You have all the potential that you could possibly want. Do you have the energy? Do you have the potential to develop the connections, the contacts in the field to get yourself published, either self-publishing or online? Yes, 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 to all these things. But it will never happen until you learn to set boundaries. Okay?
Right.
You are if you've looked at the little bio about me, the first thing that I say is that on my website is that my mission in life is that all people on the planet should learn that they are psychic already and learn to use their psychic abilities. And the second thing I say is that a psychic who doesn't have the ability and use it gets used by it. And if you're being used by your psychic ability, you are putting yourself first and your family second at risk. And you're the perfect example of that. You're the person who's being used by your ability, not the other way around. So you need psychic training and you need it big time. But start with the psychic protection tips, employ them, use
Once did them from your website.
Go ahead.
I did once watch one of your videos on YouTube where you passed a sort of it looks like a hula hoop made of metal with some bolts on it.
Yeah, my office is in disarray, so I can't quite put my hand on it. But yes,
I wasn't able to make one, but I kind of visualized a ring of fire passing through my body. I immediately felt relief. Like as soon as I visualized it passing down, breaking all these connections, I for the first time was able to relax. Like I just felt this instant relief.
Right.
And I thought something to this.
Well, take this with you, and then I'm going to go on to the next caller. But here's the thing I want you to take with you. When you get depressed, that depression means that your energy's been drained. Okay? So the first thing you should do is protect yourself. The second thing you should do should be to scope out who have you just been thinking about or talking to who managed to put the hook in and either dump on you or drain you. It could happen either way. And the third thing you should be doing immediately is some kind of physical activity that reroutes your mind in a new direction, so it cuts off whatever it was you were connected to that was taking your energy. And the physical energy, the physical exercise, gets your energy moving again so that your guides can start to give you that supply of life force energy we all have. Okay?
Right.
You aren't depressed. You're being either dumped on or drained. Both of those things happen to you, and it's pretty constant. That's why I was asking you about the people around you, and does anybody do drugs? Does anybody do alcohol? Is anybody chronically ill? Because those are the people who will be most likely to be the dumpers or the takers. Okay?
Right. Yeah, makes 10 sense. And I can identify people. Absolutely.
Good. So good luck to you. You've got a lot to work on, but yes, your book will be successful. Do this stuff, and you'll be successful with that book. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lisa, who's our next caller?
Okay, the next person I'm going to call on is Chaz. Chaz,
Hey.
you are unmuted.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, Chaz. Hey, tonight's my guy night. I love it. Chaz, where are you calling from, and what's your sign?
I'm from Brooklyn. I'm a Virgo, and I'm grateful for you.
Oh, thank you. But that doesn't count. What else are you grateful for?
I'm also grateful for God, basically.
Okay, awesome. Me too. Me too. I'm going to ask that while I'm talking, you mute your mic because between our two lines, for whatever reason, we're getting some feedback. Okay, and then
Okay.
I'll tell you when you can open it back up again if I need, any response from you. Okay. We also
Sorry.
we also need, before you mute though, we need to know what your question is, and also, I think you told me your sign. No, you didn't. I need to know your sun sign.
My sun sign is a Virgo.
There you are. Oh boy, doing a lot of soul searching, aren't we? Yes, you're in the 12th house here. That's the house of dreams and the house of the unconscious, and looking inside, and particularly looking inside and looking at your relationships in your day-to-day life and saying, am I happy with it? What do I want to change here? Can I change it? Or am I stuck with it? Okay. What's your question, Chaz?
Okay, so last time I spoke to you, I asked you about a woman,
Uh-huh.
and you said that basically said it wouldn't work out, and it didn't. So you was right. So now I need to know about what's going on with my career because I'm
Ah,
a musician.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, you know, I'm pulling a whole bunch of cards here. And I hope you were listening very carefully to what I was saying to the previous caller, yes? Because you
Yes.
have a whole lot of the same stuff going on as he did. Okay? It's almost like ditto, so everything that I said to him, you need to apply to your life too. Okay? When you
Yeah.
finally get clear of the hanger-oners, the drainers, the dumpers, and particularly in your case, the people who lead you the wrong direction almost deliberately because they are jealous of you. Okay?
Wow.
Be aware of that. Okay? And in your profession and in your group and in your band, you have those people who, if you make a suggestion, are going to say, oh, no, 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 we got to do it this way. And all it really is the one-ups in you. That's all they're doing. It's not, your idea is good. Your idea is better. You get my point, right? So,
Absolutely.
frankly, it may be time to audition for a different band instead of feeling the loyalty to the old one. You got it?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
crazy because today in the supermarket with my mother, I actually saw somebody who I was having a slight issue with, and it came from music and a bunch of other things in the neighborhood. But it's you hit it right on the head because my mother's telling me the same type of stuff.
Hey, I like your mom. Psychic lady. Hmm. Okay. Honestly, you're the guy who ends up going down with the ship because you have such loyalty to the other people. But in this particular instance, you're giving your loyalty to the wrong people. It's wonderful to have that spirit of support and loyalty and brotherhood. And in the right place, there is nothing better. But, it's got to come back. And it's not. So the other people don't have that. So you've got to wake up from that and audition. Think of it as a business. Know your skills. Know what you're good at. Know what you want, and go. And don't be afraid to go and audition for that position. And know you're good enough to get it. Okay? And
Yeah.
after you've got the position and you're making the money and you're doing what you love and you're treating it like a business to get there, not a friendship, not a brotherhood, a business, after you've got into that right position, then create your friends, then create your loyalties. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm actually in school for music right now, and I'm gonna go back for the business side
Good.
because I started like entertainment company, so I'm gonna go
Very
back
good.
to learn for myself.
Very good. And you can expect your entire, all the people you know are going to change. And I guess it kind of started with the girlfriends, and now it's going to go down the road, and you're allowing yourself to move forward into a growth cycle. But most of those people that you were connected to aren't going to grow because they're just still stuck in the same old, same old. And that's not wrong. I mean, if that's where they want to be, that's fine. Don't worry about it. That's their choice, okay? But if you want more, you certainly can get more. So go do it, okay?
Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Good luck to you. And Lisa, who is next?
All right. The next person I'm going to call on is Marcia. If I can get her unmuted. I seem to be having a problem with these little red mics tonight.
It might be your fingers aren't working quite right. I have that problem sometimes.
Well, I'm on there, and it's just not unmuting her mic.
Okay.
Oh, it says the attendee is self-muted. Marcia, if you're muted on your end, can you unmute it? Alrighty, maybe not. I will move on to the next person. And see what happens. All right, we're going to go down to...
Oh, hang on, in case Marcia tunes back in, I do have some information for her, okay? I see a man that's been giving her good information. She's wondering if she can trust it. Yes, it's trustable. However, whoever it is that's talking to her doesn't have the finances that he professes to have. So his advice is good and he can be trusted, but financially he's not in good shape, okay? And I see her very disturbed about a much younger person than her. I don't know if it's her child or the child of a friend, but I see her very worried, and I see that is going to come out okay. Okay? So, onward. Who's our next person?
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, is that Marcia?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I felt compelled to give you that reading. Good girl.
It kept flashing, muted, unmuted, muted, unmuted.
Okay.
There actually is someone in my life in that way. It's my nephew. Anyway, let me take a step back. My name is Marcia. I am an Aquarius, and I'm in southeastern Wisconsin. And I'm very grateful for my husband. And my question was actually going to be about my career. So it's interesting that you brought that up, because there seem to be people and things that get in the way of everything that I want to do. So my question is, if there looks like there would be any sort of career path change coming for me.
Absolutely. You're already on it. You're already on the way. The first thing, Marcia, that I want you to understand is that nothing is ever blocking you except yourself. So instead of looking at all these monkey wrenches, all these things getting in your way that are stopping you, ask yourself what is going on inside of you that's making you either unsure of what you want to do or more likely in conflict with what you want to do. For example, is the thing you want to do, really want to do, something which is going to create a cut in salary, and so you have a conflict inside. You see?
That's definite.
Yeah, so what's going on in you that is creating this conflict? You see it? And it's because you've got that inner conflict that it's manifesting outside in the world as blocks, because the universe can't give you both of those things because they don't work together. You know, I want to do this fun thing, but I also want to do this thing that makes a lot of money, and I can't do them both. Now, if you could find a way to do them both, the universe would arrange that and all the blocks would disappear. Okay? But you don't want to do them both because you know that you can't be as creative and as successful at the one thing if you are still having to do the other thing that brings in the bucks. Okay? So knowing that and understanding that that's where the roadblocks are coming from, let me ask you a series of questions that you need to ask yourself. First question is, am I needing to stockpile more money? Am I the sole support in the family? Am I the person who needs to work this job just for the money for maybe a year longer before I can step out with a clear conscience and do what I really want to do? That's one question to ask. Is it possible for me to do the thing I really want to do and then go back and do this other job I don't like so much but pays well, maybe 2 days a week? Is it possible for me to do them both and gradually phase the good paying one out? Is it possible for me to rely on somebody else's salary, or perhaps cut the belt, tighten that belt back again so that my expenses are limited so I can do this thing that I really want? Do you see? And then you've got to look at this thing you really want. And I'm sorry, but I've got to address this way. You see, I'm looking at you, and your sign, Aquarius, is right here. It's on the 5th house cusp in this chart. The 5th house has to do with your creativity. And so I know what you really want to do is something that utilizes your creativity and your talent and brings you this feeling of joy every day, and might have something even to do with kids or the child of your heart. Maybe it's your own business. But in this house are Neptune and the South Node together. And when I see these, I know also that there's the spiritual mission attached to what you really want to do. So you're looking at this and seeing it as something that is a spiritual thing, something coming from your soul, but you're feeling you can't really make money at it. Okay? So even in that, you're holding yourself back. Do you see? Who's to say you can't do this spiritual thing that comes from your soul and make money at it? You've already set up a roadblock by making that assumption. So maybe you should be re-looking at it and saying, well, how can I do this and do it in a way that will bring in the necessary income? That's another option to look at that gets you past those roadblocks. Are you with me? I'm how I'm working you through this? These are the things that you need to be asking yourself, and know all the while that you aren't able right now to see clearly where either one of these possibilities will lead. Not the one that makes good money but you don't really like, or the one that's the soul directed journey that you think can't make money. Okay? And you can't see the outcome of either one of those yet. So a good friend told me a long time ago, and I've used this. She told this to me in 1983, and I have used this in my own decision making for years and years and years. She said to me one morning when I couldn't make my mind up, I had 2 major things going on in my life, and I wanted them both desperately. And one day I'd think one thing, and the next day I'd think the other thing. Sounds like you right now, right? And she said,
Definitely.
Sandy, the worst place in the world to be is on the fence. When you're on the fence, you get sick. Which was true, because I was sick. She said, just make your mind up. And I said, well, what if I don't like it? She said, change your mind. I said, oh, I can do that? She said, oh, absolutely. And guess what? If you make a decision on the right, you get off the fence on the right side, and you think real hard about it, and you make that decision solidly, yes, this is what I'm going to do, and tomorrow I'm going to start that new job, and you immediately start to feel really horrible and crappy, and you feel sick, and you hate the world. Well, you knew it was the wrong decision. So, say, no, decided not to do that, and go do the other one. Okay? I.e., your body and your emotions are going to talk to you so strongly that they will give you the direction you're looking for. Does that just make some sense to you?
It does. If money were no object, I would have a very clear decision, I believe.
Would you? Here's a little known secret.
I don't know.
a little known secret from Sandy. In 1979, okay, I was working as a safety engineer, earning $30,000 a year. Now, in 1979, $30,000 a year was like $120,000 a year now. It was a very good salary, okay? And I desperately wanted to quit my job and be a full-time psychic. And working 60 hours a week, pumping readings out. The only way that I could quit was to go to making $5,000 a year. Guess what? I did it. I took the jump. It wasn't easy. I was the sole support of the family at that time. It wasn't easy. I went from 30,000 to 5,000, and I did it on a prayer. I said, God, you know, if this is right, let me know right away so I don't totally screw up. Well, guess what? Within the year, I didn't just quit and say, okay, I'm on vacation. I quit and I really applied myself. You know, I really did the work. And I taught, and I did readings, and I did counseling, and I went every place that I was called. I didn't pass up any opportunities. But let me tell you, within a year, I was making the same amount of money I had been making as a safety engineer. Okay? I hope that gives you some direction and some hope. But if I had made that choice to be the safety engineer or to go from the safety engineer to the psychic, and it hadn't worked, if I had got sick, if I had felt miserable, if I had not wanted to get out of bed in the morning, I would have said, oops, wrong choice, and I would have gone back to work as a safety engineer. Period. It's not the end of the world. It only feels like it sometimes. Please remember, we always have freedom of choice, and we can always step back, rethink the choice, and do it a different way. See, right now, my friend, you're getting lost in your mind. Okay?
That would be the analyst in me.
Yes, you're getting lost in your mind. And so when you get this recording, as all of you online with me here tonight will, when you get this recording, please go back and listen to that whole section, because my guides were leading you through how to use the computer that is your mind in a way that gets your emotions out of it. And then how to use your emotions to tell if you're making the right decision or not. All they are is a communication device. You're having those emotional reactions because that's your higher self's way of leading you to the right or to the left, to give you a hint what choice to make. Cool, huh? We have so many tools. We just don't know we have.
Yeah, I just got chills.
Okay, good girl. Okay, I'm going to try and fit one more caller in, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. And Lisa, who is our last caller for the evening?
Well, the last lucky person tonight is going to be Renee. Renee, you are unmuted.
Oh, hi, I didn't even have my hand up. How are you, Sandy?
You didn't have your hand up.
I didn't have my hand up. Tony is here with me on spring break, and I'm grateful for that.
I'm so happy, so grateful. I'm grateful to talk to you. And hi, Tony. For those of you who don't know, Renee and Tony were in my psychic development class all last winter, all through 2016. So this is like hearing from two old friends. Thank you so much for calling in. And one of you got to have a question.
I do have a question, actually. I'm a Capricorn.
Yep.
And, we just moved to Denver in July, and we really like it here. I would say we don't love it here, but we really like it. But since we moved here, they've proposed 120 fracking oil wells.
Wow.
Within 3/4 of a mile of our house. So we're considering moving because I don't know if it'd be safe to stay here or not.
My guides are saying it's not safe to stay there, but they're not saying it's because of the oil wells. Okay. Yeah, there's something else. It could be because I know a little bit about Denver. It could be because there's an air quality that doesn't agree with you, et cetera, et cetera. Should you actually stay in the area? I'm getting a no. Now,
no. Okay.
What's interesting is there another place, and this isn't because, wow, I've got to leave because all this horrible stuff is happening. I'm feeling like there's a place you'd rather be. It feels like a choice, that there's a better place. And
well, we're thinking about California, like outside of LA, right on the mountains.
Yeah, and that, the problem with that, and, this isn't saying don't do it. This is like the problem with that is that financially you're not in the right shape that you would want to be to make that move. Okay? So it's a good idea, it's a good move, but you've got to work at compiling that stockpile of funds, because that would be a very expensive move for you to make.
It is expensive.
You know, there may be, you know, if you like that area, my guides keep showing me what's above California. My geography is horrible, but they're saying north.
Oregon.
Okay, you know, that's, you know, it's not what's north and east.
Maybe Nevada,
Because
Las Vegas.
yeah, they're showing me a lot of pine trees. They're showing that kind of terrain. You know, Las Vegas wouldn't necessarily be a terrible place for you, but it's not what they're showing me. They're showing me northern trees, deciduous trees, pine trees, high in the mountains, and they're
Oh,
taking it north. Okay, so you've been thinking, okay, well maybe the LA area, and that's not what they're showing. Okay,
okay.
and the thing is that area might be a good area to go to. Financially, you could earn a lot of money, but your cost of living is also going to be extraordinarily high. So it kind of balances it's each other out.
Right.
Area you're looking for, I think you're going to find in a mountainous area that's more in Northern California. Okay,
Huh.
it could be
Okay.
California, or it could be the and again, I'm not familiar with the geography, but northwest. Oregon didn't feel right unless it was the eastern part of Oregon. Okay, it felt inland,
Okay.
coastal, which is interesting because, you know, you're a Florida girl. I would have assumed
Yes.
you'd want to be on the coast, but it doesn't feel coastal. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm not sure where that would be, but I'll certainly keep looking.
Well, maybe this summer do some, do some traveling and see what energies feel right to you. You know, feel the area, feel the locality, and while you're something that's a favorite thing for me, while you're, in Denver, please
Yeah.
do make a trip up into the Rockies, just west of where Denver is, and go all the way up, because all through that area, just south of Estes Park, all through that area, there have been tons of Tibetans that have settled there, and the
All
area
right.
feels energetically, it feels like a little Tibet. It's really pretty.
Mm,
It's pretty magical.
okay. Well, thank you, Sandy. I just love you, and you're on tonight. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, and also love the kid. Thanks to you both. Bye bye.
Bye.
And folks, that's the end of our psychic hour this evening. I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing your time with me. And I remind you that everyone who didn't get a chance to ask a question but was actually on the call, I welcome one question from you. Okay, and my email's right here on GoToMeeting, or you can email that question to Lisa and she'll forward it to me. Thank you all so much. It's been great, and I'll see you next month, if not before. Bye, everybody. Bye.